Hello, I'm back again to review episode 3 of With Love, Meghan. And this episode is surprisingly good, actually. It's the episode with Choi, who's a famous Korean-American chef based out of Los Angeles. And the whole episode is basically Meghan saying, I'm an Angelino, So my usual gripes and grumbles apply. We've got the bloody flowers being sprinkled everywhere. We've got the bloody dead dog in the corner. We've got breaking the fourth wall to try and convince us that she's really kind to all the crew. I don't believe it. She is the most awkward person I've ever seen. She's so bloody awkward. She doesn't know what to do with herself when things happen. Anything that's unscripted, she jumps around, she does the seal clap, she does a little dance. She has no clue how to relate to people at all. I am amazed at this woman's behaviour. I truly am amazed. She makes some donuts, fair enough. And she does her usual double entendre by saying, oh, let it snow. Yes, we know it snows in Montecito frequently at Choi, flipping Sussex. And then when Choi arrives, the show transforms because it makes a huge difference to have a chef there. He understands knife skills. He can name the different spices, which Meghan can't. She gets garlic and ginger mixed up, which is... She has no food hygiene. She cannot understand the whole thing about keeping your hair out of the way. She cannot understand about whether or not you should have raw chicken, on the shelves of the fridge above your salad, vegetables and herbs, which is really shocking, really shocking. There are 80 people on the crew and nobody said, or she didn't listen to anybody who said, hey Meghan, it's a really bad food hygiene to have your chicken above salad vegetables. It's really bad food hygiene to have raw chicken on the shelf of the fridge rather than in a bowl, in a Tupperware, or some way of containing it. Hello, mister. This is my boy. He's such a sweet boy. She then has no understanding of the whole thing about her saliva. You know, it is not actually ambrosia. It is a vector for disease. And she basically tries things with the spoon. Choi tries things with the spoon. Then she wants the staff, the crew, to try things with the spoon. She passes them the spoon that's been in her mouth. Honestly, I don't even let my kids do that and share spoons with me. It is annoying. You do your cooking, and because you're tasting it, you go through a lot of teaspoons. So, it doesn't take long to wash them, does it? I don't believe she's washing anything by hand. And then she confesses to Choi that she has crudités every day. Now, I like crudités as much as the next person, and it's true that if you feed your children finger food, particularly when they're little, it is a really great way to get them to be used to different textures of food. It's a great way to get them to eat more vegetables. They can choose which they want for themselves. I've got nothing bad to say against it. But do you do it every day? No, you don't do it every day because it's annoying to do it every day. Also, the other thing that's really bugging me, any decent home chef and every professional chef has colour-coded, hygienic, usually plastic or glass or Pyrex chopping boards, because you don't want to cross-contaminate the board that you use to chop meat on. You don't want to be chopping vegetables on. The board that you're chopping vegetables on, you don't want to chop your fish on. You have a different board for your cooked meats. You know, these are basic things, and you buy these chopping boards. They come as a pack. So like, even, you know, I don't like to throw away plastic unnecessarily, but I have on occasion replaced my set of chopping boards because they've gone a bit gnarly, and you know, you don't want little bits of plastic in your food, so you replace them. But you know, I also have an elegant looking, pretty dysfunctional, like wooden chopping board, like a big wooden chopping board that I use when I'm cutting bread or something like that. It is not suitable for cutting your vegetables on. Okay, you shouldn't be using a wooden chopping board to do that. Number one, your juices from your garlic or your ginger or any of your strongly flavoured salads and vegetables, that's going to seep into the wood, that's going to flavour the wood. And I don't think Meghan is really scrubbing that to get that clean. And secondly, you know, you're making all those tiny cuts in the wood. Each one of those can harbour bacteria. Like, it's just really bad for you. Don't do that. Go and get yourself from a cheap shop. You don't have to spend a fortune. For like 10 quid, you can get a set of chopping boards, one in each colour, and you use the appropriate colour for the task that you're doing in the kitchen. And sometimes you'll make a meal and you'll use only one, sometimes you'll use 3, doesn't matter. That has really annoyed me for some reason. Now then, because Roy Choi's there, first of all, he is like demonstrating knife skills, and he's also demonstrating the pace that you would expect a chef to work at, you know, which is much faster than Meghan has ever had to do anything in her life. And he starts to give Meghan instructions, and she's a, you know, she's reasonable as a sous chef. She's doing what's required of her. She's able to produce crudités on demand. Whoa! Oh, bloody cat! Bloody cat! Seriously? Okay, so I'm going to try and continue. So she's doing all of that, but Roy Choi has it on the go, and he is telling her, like, put that in. Everything's prepared. We don't know what anything is. We don't know what any quantities are. But, you know, I feel pretty sure that if I was to go onto a Roy Choi website or read a Roy Choi cookbook, I could probably have a look and see these very similar recipes. As the programme continues and it becomes more and more about Roy Choi, I kind of try and tune out the Meghan-ness of it and listen to him. He seems like a really nice bloke, seems like a good chef. I liked the look of his food. I would eat everything that he made. Possibly not the pickled strawberries. Don't get it. Don't understand why you'd do that. They're fresh. Just eat them fresh. They're lovely. But, you know, I would probably have tried it if I was there. You know, the way you've got like the memory bank of different flavours, and you can kind of pull it to kind of imagine what those flavours are, and I just can't see pickled strawberries. But anyway, he pickles strawberries, which I've never seen before. And he goes on, he demonstrates a whole range of different ways to batter chicken, which is great. He talks about racism and MSG, which is weird. They have a lot of conversations where Meghan's trying to show how hip and cool and down with the kids she is by knowing lots about Korean American culture from being an Angelino. Take it with a pinch of salt. And the crew seem very grateful for having this tasty Roy Choi chicken. I found that as the show went on, I wrote fewer notes about it because I was less irritated by Meghan, because there was this other big presence and he really carried this episode. I would say that this episode is by far the best of the 3 that I've seen so far. The last one, number 2, with Mindy Kaling, was just like Mean Girls, just like I just never felt any actual warmth between them. The one with Daniel, I really like Daniel. He seems genuinely like a really lovely guy, but he also seems like an employee who never says anything that questions the authority of Meghan. And I would have loved to see him go full on bitchy queen. That would have been a programme where he decides to tell Meghan what he really thinks about her. That would have been a show. Anyway, so episode 3, it was fine. If you're going to watch one of them as a cooking show, this is probably the cooking show of the lot because it's got an actual chef in doing chef things. Beyond that, yeah, it's just more of the same, unsuitable outfits. Oh, Roy Choi clearly has told her to tie her hair back at one point because her hair suddenly gets tied back so it's not in the middle of all the Korean food that they're making, which is very appreciated. I mean, this is the thing, right? There will be people on the staff that have been employed as part of that crew whose job it is to make sure that food hygiene is considered. Like they're not making any obvious blunders that are going to lead to health and safety incidents. There will be someone on the crew that is actually the chef who is consulted on the recipes, quantities, substitutions, things that they can use fresh in the garden, all the rest of it. They will have had a range of people, probably several people, preparing different iterations of the meals to get them to the point where Meghan can then do the final bit of the presentation. They will have had loads of people whose job it involves like cleaning up after her, preparing the stuff and putting it in the little dishes, all of that stuff. I mean, they say there were 80 people on the crew. 80! Not 8! 80! I can't think of 80 jobs that there were. But anyway, yeah, as a show, episode 3 was better than episode 2. And episode 1 was in the middle. So, yeah, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do because it's pretty dull, you know? And she just doesn't stop, does she? Because she's now announced she's doing a new podcast. I mean, maybe I should just skip and do a video about that. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch another video tomorrow and get that done. I apologise for my appearance. I have been in the garden today, so everything is a little bit thing. The only way I can get these videos out in any kind of reasonable time frame is if I just do a take and go. So I hope you will accept them as they are. They are intended in the spirit of joy. Oh God. Oh God. So take care and I'll see you again soon. Bye.